Look what is blooming in the garden right now. This is one of the evening sunset sunflowers, and I don't think like that color is just like, I don't think you can beat that. It is so gorgeous. Just absolutely my all-time favorite sunflower. I just got some more seeds for this and I'm so glad I did, because how pretty. All of a sudden the sunflowers have come out in force. There's a few out here that are more like the dwarf size ones that I actually forgot to label. But I think they're the Paquito yellow, I think, from Baker Creek. Super cute. Looking really happy. Look at this guy. And hey, I don't want you on there. Get off. But I have just been loving having some sunflowers blooming out here. Look how pretty that is. Big full center. Gorgeous. Of course, the Sunfinity sunflowers are also looking beautiful. I'm gonna do, oh, there's a swallowtail. Is that butterfly okay? I'm gonna hope it's sleeping. It's not moving at all. I have been seeing a ton of butterflies out in this garden, and this is one of the butterfly favorites. Always, you know, just, I mean, how could you not love that? I'm gonna do a whole, like, this is a repeat one for me. I will 100%, if I can get my hands on these next year, this whole row of these, it's just so fun to look out the window. I will say the other flower that is always a big butterfly magnet are zinnias. And so all of my zinnias have been covered in butterflies. And we got the first cosmos out here starting to open. And, well, not the first, but the first of those pink ones. And then look at my Moonstars watermelon. I am so, like, the fact that I am gonna have watermelons from the garden, as long as I'm able to pick these and figure out when they're ripe and get them picked, like, that is so exciting to me. That's like, I feel, you know, I've never had a garden this big before. Something about like a watermelon feels like that's like big garden, you know, big garden growing. That is, I am so excited about that. That is so fun. I am noticing a ton of hornworm damage. So the Japanese beetles have tapered off. We're into hornworms now, so more hornworm damage. I'm just doing my best I can when I notice it, but they're moving fast, and you can probably hear I've got a little bit of a cold, and I will say that has slowed me down a little bit this week with some of my projects. I really want to finish off some of the like big projects that I need to do, like just putting the holes in all the trough planters and all of that, and I just, you know, it's been really hot, and then just having a little bit of cold slows me down. So just doing the best I can. Today I'm going to come out here. I'm going to try to plant a few seeds for the, like, to grow into the fall. So you can plant some stuff. I probably actually could get away with doing another round of maybe zinnias or something. I'm not sure if I'm going to go that far, but I pulled a few seeds out, so we'll see. All right, so it's getting dark and there might be a thunderstorm rolling in. We'll see. There's some very threatening clouds, but here are a few things that I'm gonna try. I am going to try to grow a few more beans, just because the beans have been doing really well for me, and this is such a good nitrogen fixer that I feel like the more that I can grow these, chop and drop, leave the roots in the soil, it's gonna benefit my soil. So these are some heavy producing green beans, kind of like, you know, typical. This is Ferrari. Sleek and slim as a sports car, they say. So like that slender pod, which, you know me, this is, I like the more like French filet, like French style green beans. So they are also 63 days to maturity. So that's like pretty good. I do have 63 days left before my first frost. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sow all of these, but I'm just gonna do a few. Great compact plants, great for container gardening, which is I think why I ended up getting these. And I may do a few more containers for like fall. So I'm thinking about maybe popping a few of these in my green stock. I just cleared out some of the zinnias, were kind of like done. And I thought, you know what, I could probably plant some of these in here, or even do some of these in some little containers on the patio. So I'm just gonna plant a few out here in the garden. Then I thought I might experiment with some kale and some collard greens. I started these both inside, but I thought it would be just interesting to see if I could get any of these to grow. And I was thinking that I have this space like under the raspberries here, and I could kind of try, this raised bed isn't completely full. I'm gonna top it off in the spring with like with compost. But I was thinking, you know what, I could try to grow some of these like in the shade underneath the raspberry bushes. And then when the raspberry bushes kind of die out for the winter, at least there'd be something kind of pretty growing in the raised bed. So I might try that. And then some greens that I know will grow in the hot weather are Swiss chard. So I grabbed rhubarb and this 5-color silver beet Swiss chard. I've had good luck with both of these. These are kind of old seed packets that need to get used up anyways. So I don't feel, you know, with an old seed packet like this, I don't feel quite as bad with like, just trying a little bit of an experiment. One of the things that's tricky with doing stuff like this time of year is that there's a lot of like caterpillars, hornworms, for example. There's a lot of caterpillars cruising around the garden, and that is hard for greens. So I'm not going to do a ton of seeds. I don't want to waste seeds, but I'm just going to try a couple and just use them as like sort of my test rounds. I just talked about these guys, lancenato kale, so it's like a classic kale, dinosaur kale. Morris heading collards are a really great collard green. If I can get these growing, they will grow all the way through till like the spring. They will just keep growing all winter, no issue with our colds here in zone 7B. They'll be totally fine. So if I can get them started, that'd be great. And I just like collard greens. These are super nice, and they form a little bit of like a head, so kind of like a loose sort of head, so that's why they're called the heading collards. And then rhubarb is one of those greens. Like I said, you can grow this in hot weather. I like the rhubarb. It's got the pretty kind of stems. If you've not used Swiss chard, I would say harvest it young like baby greens. The people that let Swiss chard go and try to eat like the big leaves, I think are usually the people that are more disappointed with the flavor. Just harvest it young. I also have some orange Swiss chard. I mean, basically it's just about the color, right? They're heat tolerant. A great addition to salads, like that's important. Add them to salads, maybe don't try to make a full salad out of them. I'm gonna try to re-sow some of my rhubarb because I lost a couple of both my rhubarb seedlings did not take off and make it. They started off good and then they just had a hard time this spring. So I'm gonna try to direct sow some and see if I can get them like started before winter. If not, then I'll just restart them inside in the spring. And then I pulled out some borage. I don't know. I thought like it's 60 days to maturity. The pollinators love borage. Throw some borage around. I usually think of this as more like a cold weather sort of plant, but I don't know. You know, they're a pretty annual flower. You can eat them. I usually just like let the pollinators enjoy them. And then I don't know that, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm sniffling. This cold is just getting the best of me. I brought out these root vegetables. I also brought some sweet alyssum. I don't think I'm gonna start this, although that would be a good fall flower because alyssum can handle, again, a little bit of cold. I'm not gonna do zinnias, even though I really want to. I wanna just move into fall gardening and things that are gonna go through winter. But I did bring out some bunching onions. These will keep going into the cold weather, so this is a good one to get started. I had these seeds on hand. They're just sort of a traditional variety of bunching onion. And then I thought it might be interesting to try some parsnips. I was hoping I would get a chance to run to this garden center and get some soil so I could put it in one of these like troughs and fill that and then try to grow these in some good soil. I don't think I have like lofty enough soil. I need to get some, like I can't do it in ground in these beds. It won't work. So I need to fill the troughs, but you can sow it in spring for a fall winter harvest. Like I was hoping maybe I could get it to grow over the winter as little as 90. I just need to know. That's a no. Okay, but that'll be an interesting one. I'm gonna try that next year. I want to try some. I don't think I've ever even actually eaten a parsnip. And then watermelon radishes are one that you plant this time of year. They are a radish that likes the heat. Now, again, I don't have a very good soil situation, so I'm not sure. But maybe I'll throw some of these. I don't know. Let's stick with this. This is probably enough to keep me busy. While I was looking at these seeds, I was looking over here and I saw, look at all this okra that I haven't harvested. The truth is, I don't really eat okra. My husband likes it, but I don't really eat it, so I haven't even harvested. I tried to harvest one and then I need to go get clippers, and I haven't been out here with clippers. And it's sort of been like maybe diverting the last of the Japanese beetles. It has pretty flowers. I don't think there's any blooming right now, but I'm kind of just leaving this for decorative purposes and because it's nice to have something growing in the garden. But it's such a serious plant. Like, these big woody stems are so crazy. The flowers are pretty. It grows really well here. It loves this heat. You know, it's a southern plant, so I just thought I'd show you that though. Look at all this okra. This garden is producing something. Oh, and this zucchini plant back here, I harvested my first zucchini. The first zucchini of the garden harvested this year. That was so exciting. That has been like my goal, to have some zucchini. So that was really, really, really exciting. I was so happy when it actually produced. And actually, like, the little melons are forming little melons. It's good stuff is happening. Okay, let's plant. Look at these little melons getting started. I'm gonna plant a couple borage plants right here next to it. See the blue. Bunching onions. Gonna sprinkle them. Just gonna sprinkle them all in this corner here. There's a sunflower growing, which, if that grows up and provides some shade for them, then that'll be great. If not, it's no big deal. All right, and now a few beans. These I'm gonna try to grow. I just mulched this area, so I'm gonna try to grow them in the mulch. This may not work, but I just kind of want to see if they're going to grow. I have plans to do some peas as cover crops, so this is a little bit like part of that sort of experiment. There we go. Again, I'm not going to do all my beans. I'm going to save some of these for some containers. Perfect. All right, well, I didn't plant the Swiss chard yet. As I said, just like, it's getting late, it's getting dark. I'm gonna come out and water everything first thing in the morning. I know I should water it now, but I think it's gonna rain and I might as well let it rain. And if not, I'll just water it first thing in the morning, and then all the seeds will get going and we'll have a little bit of something towards kind of keeping the succession going in the garden. Well, success. I did it. I just put holes in the bottom of all of the trough planters. Well, now I'm looking at this one planter. All the trough planters that I needed to, and maybe I'll actually get some soil in time to do some carrots or something in those trough planters. I think those will be perfect for root vegetables because, again, I can have all potting soil in it, so they're not having to fight with our clay soil, which is just would be no good if you're trying to grow any kind of a root vegetable. Like hard packed clay, not really the thing. And the other thing that's cool about it is they are containers. Technically, they do have a base. So, not that I have like that many gophers or moles or anything, but it would protect those root vegetables from anything trying to come like dig up from underneath. I've seen a few mole holes around. I don't know if they go after the root vegetables, but I've got a few trough planters, so that would protect the any like root vegetables from any of those underground threats, which is kind of cool. So I'm really excited. The last thing I have to debate is I have this galvanized like circular, I guess, container. I probably should just go ahead and put holes in it while I'm out here. I used it to house my plants while I was on vacation. As you can see, it filled up with water. There's a huge spider living in it. I'm sorry, garden spider. Let's just go find a new spot, okay? Yeah, there you go. Like, we don't need anything holding on to water out here. And this would be a fun planter, I think, for flowers or herbs or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill it. I'll show you. If you are considering galvanized containers like this, just know it's not the easiest thing to drill through. I do have like a metal rated cobalt drill bit. I actually got some the like lubricant that you put on it so that it doesn't get too hot, but the layer of galvanized, and this isn't a very thick piece of like metal, so I don't think it's overheated. I haven't had an issue. I just will say like it takes forever, and you have to put just put constant pressure. Kind of takes forever. It's just not the simplest thing. Just like push down and you just wait, and it just takes forever. And then there you go. This one is better than the trough. The trough can really take forever. And you kind of have to push down. There we go. There we go. I put 4 holes in here. You probably could put more, but we're doing a lot of full sun and really dry conditions in these garden beds. So while I could put more holes in these for drainage, I want to have enough drainage holes that they're going to drain well, that they are not going to hang on to water for too long. But I don't mind if they're a little slower to drain, because it's just so hot and so humid here. It's hard on containers, especially like when you get to July, August time in the season. It gets really, really hot out here. And so for like the fall garden, even as we're getting into fall plantings, it's gonna be still pretty warm for the next few months. So having slightly fewer drainage holes where it's still draining, but maybe not super, super fast, I think is maybe advantageous. But that's cool. All right. I feel relieved, because this was one of those garden chores and one of the things I wanted to do before I planted the fall garden, but I just was like, the first time I came out to do the holes in the troughs, it was so hard. What I found is I had to drill them all as far as I could on one side, and then usually my drill bit would stick and get stuck and stop, and then I turn it over and drill it out the rest of the way from the other side, and then it worked. But it was just like a bit of a process, and so I was kind of feeling, I don't know, it's like one of those things. Yeah, I'm sure we all have those things, right, where you're just like, I don't procrastinate on a lot of stuff, but every so often there's something. I was kind of procrastinating on that, but it's done. Yay, right? I have holes in this one. Yep, that one's got holes. So this one is draining. It's got holes. It's draining fine. There's a little bit of water in the corner, but any container is going to have a little water hanging out, on the sides. That's just how it works. So, woohoo! I feel like a success. That's great. Okay. Oh, good. I might still try to plant that Swiss chard in the next few days here. We'll see. But I've got some other things that I want to really do, and I'm going to start a bunch of Swiss chard inside, and I figured, maybe I'll just do it for the summer garden, and then it'll grow on through next winter, and maybe that's good enough. So anyways, thank you for spending a little time in the gardens with me. they are coming together slowly but surely. It's a painstaking process, but it's happening. So thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.